Warband. The night was not quiet. On Sunday I told you the revenue line was not the question at Nvidia. The margin line was. Last night the answer came back, and it came back exactly where I said it would. It is Thursday, the 27th of August, 2026. Start with the anchor. As of just after 5 o'clock this morning Eastern, Bitcoin trades at 79,700, up about 1% on the day. It sits among the bullish anchors on our board beside gold and the long bond. The broad market and the Nasdaq are both market bearish on trend, and the long bond still leads the pack. The engine reads this tape risk off and pointed down, even with index futures green on last night's print. Solana earned its mention this morning, $104, up better than 7% on the day, and up roughly 27% on the week against Bitcoin's 22. The tail is running harder than the head right now. That is what late cycle enthusiasm looks like, right up until it looks like something else. Now the print. Nvidia reported after the close. Revenue $96.2 billion, up 106% on the year against the street looking for 92. Data center alone, $89 billion, up 117%, and now roughly 92% of everything the company sells. Guidance for the current quarter, $108 billion against the street at 104. And the chief financial officer told analysts to expect something near 70% revenue growth in fiscal 2028. The street had modeled 44. Every one of those numbers is a beat. None of them is the story. Here is the story. Gross margin guidance came down, roughly 74% this quarter, bottoming near 71 to 72 next. Management named the reason without being asked twice. Memory costs running above what they had planned for. I gave you the mechanics of why that was coming, and I will not rerun them. What matters is that it is now confirmed from the podium, in company guidance, rather than whispered onto a price list. The most powerful company in this build-out just told you, in the middle of a record quarter, that it does not control the price of the scarcest thing inside its own machine. Sit with that. Nvidia can make more processors. It has proven that at a scale nothing in industrial history matches. What it cannot do is make more memory. That takes a fab, a wafer allocation, and years. And the firms that own those wafers have been steering them toward high bandwidth memory. 23% of the world's DRAM wafer supply now, up from 8% 2 years ago. The chief executive of one of them said in July this shortage could run past 2030. Abundance at the top of the stack, scarcity at the bottom, and the margin flows downhill to whoever owns the scarce layer. Then the alert tape said the quiet part out loud. At 1 minute past 8 last night Eastern, roughly 3 hours after that print, our optimized trend model flipped green on Micron. Palantir turned green in the same minute. Understand what that is. On Tuesday, I told you Micron's trend had rolled bearish. 2 sessions later, on the night the biggest buyer in the world announces it is paying up for memory, the model turns the memory maker green. Our engine did not buy the company that beat. It bought the company doing the beating. And there is a divergence underneath it that has been running the wrong way for 3 weeks. Physical memory has been setting records. A DDR4 chip printed an all-time high spot price earlier this month, and a 64GB DDR5 kit now runs nearly 500% above where it sat a year ago. Meanwhile, the memory stocks sold off hard. Traders were pricing a demand slowdown, while the commodity itself went vertical. Last night, one of those 2 positions got a receipt. It was not the one the traders were holding. Conviction is the only edge that compounds. But it has to be conviction about the constraint, not about the logo. Now to the other kind of scarcity, the kind you cannot fab at all. On Tuesday, SpaceX and the governor of Louisiana announced Starbase Louisiana, a planned Starship complex on 125,000 acres in Vermilion Parish, a $100 billion program billed as the largest spaceport on Earth. Ground breaks next year. Weigh the shape of that number. $100 billion is not a factory. That is closer to what a nation spends on a coastline. And notice what it actually buys: land, water access, and launch corridor. There is no software release that produces 125,000 contiguous acres with an ocean in front of them. No model gets trained into a launch azimuth. It is the same lesson the memory story teaches: wearing different clothes. When the digital layer goes abundant, the physical layer sets the price. And whoever moves first on the physical layer is buying the one thing that cannot be copied: the honest other half. The next Starship flight carries a file target of no earlier than tomorrow. And these dates have slipped often enough that I would hold it loosely. NASA's administrator said early September when asked 2 weeks ago. The tower catch is pushed months out. And last Thursday, roughly 319 million shares came free of lockup, part of a staggered unlock that runs through next year. The stock broke below its $135 listing price on that news. Here is what happened next. 1 week on, the paper has been absorbed. The stock trades near 139 and change, back above the line it was supposed to have lost. That was a shareholder event, not an engineering one. Never confuse a new supply of paper with a change in the thesis. Supply of shares gets digested. Supply of coastline does not get created. One more, and it is about who is buying the coin. Through Tuesday, American spot Bitcoin funds had booked 7 straight sessions of net inflows. August's haul stands near $3 billion. Inside 400 million of the best month those products have ever recorded, with 4 sessions left to close it. Underneath the wrapper, large holders absorbed roughly 270,000 coins over the trailing month, and exchange reserves now sit at a 7-year low. Coins are leaving the venues where they can be sold quickly and moving to hands that do not sell quickly. And this morning, the symbolism is almost too neat. Jackson Hole opens today. The theme the Federal Reserve chose for its own symposium this year is financial innovation and its implications for payments and policy. The chair delivers his first keynote as chair tomorrow morning. They have convened in the mountains to discuss the future of payment. The network they are discussing has been settling every 10 minutes throughout their entire conference. It never asked to be on the agenda. It will not read the transcript. So carry this into Thursday. The build-out is not slowing. $108 billion of guidance and 70% growth into 2028 settles that argument for now. But watch where the money stops being made. It is sliding down the stack, away from the thing anyone can scale toward the thing nobody can. Memory, wafers, land, corridor. That is the whole trade in a single sentence, and it always has been. Find what cannot be manufactured faster merely by wanting it more, then own it before the people who need it work out that they need it. 21 million sits at the bottom of that stack, and no capital budget on this earth can move it by a single coin. This is Warband as a service, Viking intelligence delivered in real time. I am Ragnar, the HODLBARBARIan. Hold the line. Skål.